LinkedIn Echo Chamber. This is Emma's Like Teen Spirit. Today we have Kate with us. Kate, how are you doing?
Really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really well, Kate. Kate, I think of you as recruitment royalty. You've been around in the data science scene forever, at least for me you have. You've even got me roles in the past. So I'm happy to connect with you here and wanted to bring you on as a recruitment expert to talk about the data science scene. You were telling me about it the other day and it sounded so different than what I remember. I was compelled to ask you to come here and at least tell my network how it is so the data scientists can hear some insights from you. And then the other side of it too, that the hiring managers can hear your perspectives. Before we do all that, Kate, I usually ask for an introduction. So I'd like you to take 60 seconds to introduce yourself and what you've been doing. But still before that, Kate, I wanted to tell you this is a fanboy moment for me, Kate, because I'm doing these videos to bring insights to my network. And actually, you were one of the first that I remember doing this. So you started in 2020 bringing video to your network during the pandemic. Do you remember?
I do. I remember it very well.
Yeah, I'd never really seen anyone kind of trying this. I suppose you were panicking like mad, really, trying to keep engagement up during uncertain times. And what always stuck with me was how well you did it. So you stuck in my memory, at least. And then the second thing stuck with me is that you used to do these videos, sometimes often from home, and you would have a Nirvana poster in the background or a Nirvana t-shirt on, which means that you're a child of the 90s, a grunge fan, and perfect for this show. Do you remember this?
I do indeed, yes. I think there are multiple guitars in the background as well. I can't claim them all to be mine, but yeah, I do like a bit of Nirvana.
Let's start with a quiz, Kate. Which is the best Nirvana album?
Oh, God, I can't answer that one. I can't answer that one.
It's in utero, everybody. So you can go out. You heard it here first. Okay, let's get down to the interview. So you wanted to, I wanted you to come here and talk about, scenarios, challenges. We'll jump into the candidate side first. So I said before, you told me things the other day that I didn't expect to hear. So can you give me a rundown of just, how it is for data scientists trying to get a job right now and, key challenges and tips that you have for them?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a massively saturated market, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on how you look at it. But certainly the pandemic accelerated the demand for digital and data talent here in the UK dramatically. And in addition to that, there was a lot of overhiring that went on, I think, particularly in the data science market. So there are a lot of displaced candidates at the moment looking for work, exceptional technical talent. But I think the problem is just that there are still businesses looking to hire data science experts in the UK, but a lot of that hiring is being done through direct attraction methods. So what I mean by that is that businesses are advertising on LinkedIn, or they have their own internal talent teams looking to go and hire these people. They're not coming as much as they were to external recruitment consultants like us, which makes the job searching part of that process for candidates really difficult. So I think one of the biggest challenges is being able to stand out from the crowd, being able to cut through the noise, ensuring that your prospective employer really understands what your USPs are. So, data scientists are data scientists. There aren't really any nuances to that job title. So I would recommend, if you're applying directly to businesses and to jobs, not only to go through the formal route of applying through an ATS system, a CV management system, or through LinkedIn, but also to reach out to the talent team that are advertising and try and identify the hiring managers and directors in that business as well, and talk to them about your USP. It might be a really niche skill that you have or that you've studied, perhaps around NLP or LLMs or causal inference, for example. Anything connected to web development or digital marketing, particularly performance marketing, is also highly valued. But if your CV reads quite generic, it's going to be difficult for internal talent teams or ATS systems to identify that. And that is how I'm trying to showcase our top tier talent, is by elevating some of those USPs. So it's really good to think about, what angle are you going to take with presenting yourself to all of these managers, because they will be getting such high volumes of applications. In addition to that, if you're applying to smaller businesses, startups and scale-ups, a really typical data scientist brief is a kind of have your cake and eat it brief. I actually had one come through this morning from a startup. So they will need somebody that has a broad range of skills, end-to-end, full stack data scientist, somebody that can do the engineering piece and the data science piece, and also talk to the business from a commercial perspective. So you might need to tailor your CV if you're applying to small or even medium-sized businesses that have small teams. And I would try and use the kind of language that really describes some of those softer skills and commercial skills. So your ability to link what you're doing technically to business results is really important. If it reads too prescriptive, too operational, too technical, you might get ruled out. So that brings me on to one of my other points, which is elevating your softer skills. I think a lot of data scientists shy away from talking eloquently about, their ability to build relationships with stakeholders, their ability to influence those people, to gain engagement from the decision makers in an organisation. So again, being able to articulate those softer skills in the CV isn't always very easy to do, but it's really, really important. So if your CV reads like a list of all the latest techniques and methodologies and tools, and there's nothing in there about the context of what you're doing and how you did it, then you should be adding that into the CV, because that will also set you apart. The content is so important in a CV, and this is more of a general comment. You need to be able to articulate the why and the how and give context to the work that you're doing. And it's like reading a book. It should be engaging content. So even, if they've got, if they are a good internal talent person, it will be obvious to them what a good quality CV looks like. If it is too technical, it might put them off. It might not, because there are some very, very technical data science briefs out there, and you do need to just use your head and think about, okay, how am I positioning myself here? What's going to be relevant to this application specifically? So I think just some thought into the applications and who might be reading it is important.
Let's move on to the hiring managers then, Kate. So how is it for the hiring managers right now?
Well, it's kind of some similar points, but reversed, if you like, for the hiring managers. So the biggest challenge I think they're facing at the moment, again, is identifying quality within quantity. And, this isn't a sales pitch from me, but I genuinely believe that by having a conversation with a candidate and getting under the skin of who they are, what resonates with them, understanding their communication style is a large part of why you would choose to interview somebody versus some words on a piece of paper. So when line managers are, again, having to work with their internal talent teams who are normally really good but aren't equipped at the moment to deal with the volume, the recruitment processes are taking a long time. So I think the value that people like myself can add is that we can save them time by cutting through the noise, interviewing a number of people and presenting a shortlist that really hit the marks, both in terms of technical ability, but also what kind of character fit do we need? What experience do we need in terms of commercial and business knowledge? Can you talk to me about 6 projects you've done that aren't on your CV? So it is a really, really saturated candidate market in data science at the moment. So I think, a really big challenge is finding the right cultural fit for a business is more often or not what we're getting in terms of feedback from the clients. But also, if they're trying to attract premium talent, as they all are, with a very specific skill set, there is still a level of competition out there. There is still quite a bit of hiring going on in this space. So our clients need to be elevating points around training, it sounds obvious, but training and development opportunities, training funds, things like that. Most data scientists are self-learners and they want to continue doing that in their place of work. So that's really important to them. Equally, purposeful messaging and a meaningful product pitch. So people are also very interested in working for businesses that are leveraging ML and AI to develop, products or services that have maybe some kind of social responsibility, or the product is something that is to do with climate change, for example, that kind of thing. So there's all carbon emissions and that kind of thing. There's a few startup scale-ups that people have been really interested in because there is a connection between their own personal interests and what that business is trying to do. So I think data scientists understand that even though it's a saturated market, there is still a position for them where they can be quite demanding, especially the premium talent, the people that have worked for some of the really big players in this space. They can, pick and choose between different opportunities. So as an employer or a prospective employer, if you find yourself in a bit of a, Marrakesh market situation, you're trying to win that talent, thinking about some of those peripheral benefits, outside of the job itself are really, really key. Same goes for things like, work-life balance. But I don't think clients in general shout about those things enough in the interview process. They might put something onto a job description, HR or talent will normally have something at the bottom. Why you wouldn't put it at the top, I don't know, but at the bottom of the job description, talking about the benefits of joining that business. For me, that should always be the first thing you talk about. And it should be, that first stage interview should be a two-way conversation between candidate and prospective employer about the benefits for both parties in terms of working together. Outside of that, something I always sell against is the people. If you've got individuals in your business that have a really, really interesting, credible, impressive education, career history, they're writing publications, they're talking at events, they're, a really great, inspiring person to work with. Again, there are a lot of vacancies out there at the moment for data scientists. You might want to upsell that part of the opportunity to somebody. And just lastly as well, I think being really honest about talking to your prospective candidates about the opportunities that job presents, but also the challenges. Be brave, go to the table and, come to the table and explain to them, look, your day-to-day work is largely going to be centered around X, Y, and Z. Really what our aspirations are, or our aspirations are to perhaps do some more sophisticated work with data science, or this is our kind of long-term goal. But I think, there's a lot of churn in data science because people get bored and the job isn't what it was. It wasn't what was described at first stage interview or second stage interview. And I understand that jobs can change, but I think being really upfront with people around the day-to-day BAU activities and talking about them just as much as you might, bring to life some of the really attractive, sophisticated projects that someone might be working on, I think is really key. And that's part of our job as well. I'm always really, really conscious to gather that information at job briefing stage so that I can be really clear with candidates. And then the right person for that job will be engaged by all of that and will see the opportunity in all of that, So I think that might help reduce some churn, but also I think it helps to set the tone of the conversation with your prospective candidates as well. I think it's appealing to people, that level of honesty, especially with a lot of businesses being in a state of flux when it comes to data. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Kate, thanks for your insights today. Ladies and gents, this has been ML's Like Teen Spirit.